Hello, greetings. This is Gilles Mention. I come and say hello. Wish you a really good day. I wanted to discuss a few ideas about spirituality and materiality. For we've been going through for it is one and the same, spirit and matter. Matter is just an extension of spirit. For there is no separation in truth between matter and spirit. For all is one. Yet we in order to address those things, we need to decipher and to create a discrimination between things in order to understand, and so that each thing find its place and we find a state of harmony. For we've been living on this dark side of the veil for a very long time, and so the whole universe is saluting the effort and the courage that we had to incarnate in this very difficult time in such a dark matrix. But we're doing it because we respond to the call of the planet in order to assist her in this ascension. Sometimes I feel I've done my work, I want to go home, and it's like, but the spirit was reminding me that Gaia needed me here, and so I'm gonna hang on as long as I can. Soon there's going to be a grand portal, this matrix, this doorway of light, like in the Matrix movie. This will pass through the door, and on the other side everything will be fine. We'll move into the fifth dimension, sixth dimension, the galactic planes. Depending on our frequency, some of us will even move into the seventh dimension or beyond even. But it's as long as we move into this unity consciousness, the polarity has been dissolved and time has been dissolved, we will have great powers of creator. And our soul will settle up wherever we're comfortable, and we'll grow from there. There is no, we just want to be where we are, where we want to be where we can find true peace of mind, true sense of creativity, well-being, sharing. And we will achieve this ascension before we can fuse with our I Am presence. It is the fusion with the I Am presence will happen later. It is something for most people. For the fusion of the I Am presence will automatically transport us to the 300th dimension, a little bit beyond even, of the local universe. The center of the local universe will appear before the Father, Mother, God, at which point we'll be sent back down to serve the evolution of the lower realm. But it's not. But yet we do want to work on the ascension is conditioned on aligning with the highest good of all, the unconditional love of God that is always working for the highest good of all. And for that, everybody's got to listen to the heart, to your own heart. For we have chosen this situation of being the Bodhisattva, the one who serves the avatar bodies. It is a role that we choose as a teacher. We're here to teach humanity, and we have the willingness to help those who have not yet awakened. So it is part of the process to accept that. I'm going to pull a few cards to see for the chakras, the Angel Tarot. And so I hope those messages will assist, will comfort you, assist you, inspire you, guide you in deepening your connection to your essence, to your soul, to your spirit. For that is really the only thing you really want. Once we are in our connected self, we have no need of anything outside of us. On the root, on the base, where we anchored is our destiny. The destiny is to find this ascension point, to go through the door, and to be in gratitude for, and all the memories will be reconditioned and everything will work out. Their destiny is to return to the origin point and to reconnect, to finish the cycle, for they will continue to expand after that. What we have on the earth plane, the navel chakra, the sexual chakra is the revelation. So there's great deal of revelation that is coming on the earth plane. On our power center, in the solar plexus, we have potentiality, for we are shining this. There's all kinds of potential. We want to focus on this potential. For the outside world, the physical world is a vibrational universe. We look at it from its root base, the atoms, the particles, they're all in vibration, they're always shifting and changing, but things are moving very, 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 very slowly. So we're in spirit, things are moving fast, and sometimes we see this fast-moving spirit experience in our mind, in our consciousness, in our higher mind, in our experience, and we just wish that we could manifest those change. This will come. So what we have in the heart chakra is trust. the card of trust. So we want to trust. There are angels that are assisting us with all that, and it's on the unconscious level. What we communicate is the card number one, is energy. It is the primal first cause. We want to be the cause and the effect. We're talking about energy. We're talking about becoming a master of our own energy. What we see before us in our third eye, in the sixth chakra, is accomplishment. We're about to complete a cycle. We're about to, every day we're getting a little bit better, a little bit more able, a little bit more aware. And the outcome is apprentissage. It's a path of study and learning. We are learning each and every day. We are learning new lessons. We are integrating new energy. What's grounded on the earth, on the French reading, it was the trials. So it was very trials and tribulation. Here we have hesitation. So we still have to deal with hesitation. We do not want to hesitate too long. Once we know something, and what we need to do in order to alleviate the hesitation is the purification. We have to purify ourselves, purify our lifestyle. Certain of our habits are no longer good for the physical body. They're just tools that we used, but we have to accept to make certain sacrifice of the old parameters in order to purify ourselves, and so that we can find more freedom as well. And on the soul star chakra is communication. We're gonna receive and be able to clearly the more we are able to communicate the light clearly, the faster the flow of energy will come through us, and we'll be able to receive communication as well. For it is a two-way street. And for love is like a flow. It is something that we cannot like hold on to love just for ourselves. It is not something we can accumulate this love. Love is always a communication between you and a lover, or you and a friend, or you and a partner, or you as social or professional, or you and nature, you and the sun, you and the creator, from your heart to the sacred heart of God inside. It's always a communication, or whichever spirit you can communicate and share this love. It is a flow that the love can only expand by being shared. It is not something we can hold on to. And for that, Lao Tzu, the great master of wisdom, wrote this little book. I recommend it. It's called the Tao Te Ching. It's 81 poems, and on the poem number 8, he was talking about how water is very close to the Tao. It's very, very close to the source of all things, because it flows in places that no one wants to go into. It cleans everything. It is quite magical. And so we want our flow to flow, and the same thing with money. Money is like a flow, and sometimes we feel like, oh, money is like it's an enclosed. We have a glass that's full of water, and then we're gonna drop here and a drop there and a drop there, and say, oh, my glass is getting empty. The more I spray outside, the more it's getting empty. When it should flow, when money flows into our life, it makes us happy. When we utilize money for things that that fulfill a desire, it makes us feel good. So it's about reactivating all those flows, so that material and spiritual flows, so that our life is more connected to this eternal river, this eternal flow of life that we'll soon discover once we pass through the portal. I also wanted to address one thing, is that to say that and ask a question. It's about there is a great deal of consciousness around ecology right now. It is at the center of many government are addressing those ideas, but understanding the world of matter goes very, 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 very slow, and it is like we need to redirect the train of the train of the industrial train and military industrial energies. We need to redirect them towards something that's more healthy, and this great deal of awakening from the young people, from the children, also about how we created this planet that's completely misaligned with the quality of life and the quality of the environment. But it's very hard to stop a train that's going 150 miles an hour. Before we can redirect the train, we have to slow it down. We have to be patient enough, but to slow it down with constancy, and then we'll be able to redirect it. And so I want to salute all of the efforts that are being made by all the world leaders and all the ecological movement. But understanding the only way we're going to be able to bring this balance, to do those conferences without inviting the eldest of the Amérindians and the shamans, the light workers, without inviting those who really have the possibility to bring some light into the situation. It's like the blind leading the blind. It's not going to really. We have to still salute the efforts, but we want result on short, medium, and long terms. And so, they're going to need to listen a little bit more to those because technocrats will not find the solution. They have to go into all the Aboriginal will have more solution in terms of fixing the climate, but yet we have to work within society. So we need to, the light working community has to be the bridge between those ground energies that are connected to nature and those that are fully materialistic. It's like to bring this bridge, understanding that what is happening is the core of the planet is heating up. And the climates are a reflection of the emotional, collective emotional energy of the planet. But we humans have become so disconnected from the planet has to react in the way she does. And so the understanding also that we have the technology to recycle all those garbage rather than exporting them. We can utilize magnets to separate the metals. We can use the compost or the organic materials to create compost for the agriculture rather than using pesticide and chemicals. And then everything else can be burned in big ovens, and then this heat could create electricity. But then we ask the politics about that. They say, "Oh, we don't have the money to do that," but they have money to send billions around the world from some whatever programs they have, and they have billions to invest in the future wars, the wars of the future. So eventually they're gonna have to be more responsible in the short terms to create those technology to recycle all the garbage that we're creating. So, because the children are getting antsy, this new generation, they're seeing the condition of the planet, the quality of the environment, it's degrading, and so. But we will not be able to change the climate. We need to balance out our own personal energy system, and then the collective will have to be awakened to that possibility, and the Earth will find the balance, and will re-establish this one balance. So I wanted to ask a question to see what you say about the causality of man influencing the climate. And from a linear perspective, what man knows in science and history, 100,000 years ago, we were in the Ice Age. And then the Neanderthal and the Cro-Magnon came along and domesticated fire. Is it because the Cro-Magnon domesticated fire that this fire warmed up the Earth so much that it terminated the Ice Age period? If man has so much power on because we can create laws that today is going to rain or today the sky will be blue. We can create as many laws as we can, unless we are very connected and powerful. We're powerful, spiritually powerful. We do not create this weather. It is not us that create the climate. What we do is we have to get responsible in relationship to the pollution and the environmental destruction, and to stop that. So I'm not mean to criticize with the efforts that are being done. It is very useful, but I'm saying we have to seek solutions. So just this question: was it the domestication of fire that stopped that created the end of the Ice Age? So it's like. Personally, I doubt that this had such an impact. Yet it's important that we start thinking about all kinds of solutions, and as soon as man becomes peaceful, the galactic will come and bring technologies that will change the whole program, and we'll be able to restore the planet. But first we have to stop making wars among ourselves, to stop investing in the industries of war, because the more we invest in the industries of war, the more we sell weapons around the world, the more those weapons are called for action, and people will utilize this because they invested in those things. They will see the need to invest in war and create war, when war is actually awful. We don't live in places for most of us, hopefully, that are in a state of war, but there are people that are completely that have to live that on the earth every day, and it's like it's this great tyranny of those. But yet we want to focus on joy, on establishing ourselves in a state of being where we can appreciate life, move into joy, and forget about to let go of all those energies. I brought it up, but maybe I shouldn't even bring it up, because it's like those things will slow down and eventually diminish and eventually disappear, even from memory. We have to forget about that. We want to move into the golden age, where to envision already the whole of society living in peace, living in joy, in creativity and abundance. And the more we are doing that, the more we are contributing to the creation of that matrix program where the doors will open and people, as more people, when 51% of the population has moved into this potential, then the effect on the world will completely shift and everything will be restored to its balance and harmony. We do not know how powerful we are, and the media is using those catastrophic scenarios to condition the most of humanity towards creating, to serve the co-creation of those energies of destruction, and those will continue for quite a while. So it is not about being worried, but to take care of ourselves, to take care of our well-being, and to take care of our sense of self and well-being. So let us hope. Sometimes I feel like it's like this program is like so overwhelming. I feel I want to go home, but the host says, well, you need to be here. So I'm hanging on for now. Let's see what happens. We'll see what happens. This is a portrait of a blue man, and it's like a galactic being, and he's got blue hair, blue skin, blue eyes, and it says 00101110. It is the Ascension code. And here it is a cosmology painting of the Master Universe, the center of the Master Universe, and the 7 families of spirit being. It doesn't, from afar, it's kind of, you can't really see it from afar, you have to come close, but anything I do on the painting to make it look better from afar, it's removing details when you come up close, so I have to decide to leave it as it is. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I thank you very much for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Let me know what you think about those things. It's we have to respect the opinions of everybody, and so even those people who think that have completely contradictory, opposing views of our own are needed to express themselves so that we can come to a middle ground, so we can find a common solution. It's always about finding the common ground in relationship to the level of consciousness. I'm going to finish with a song and we'll put one more card. It's a song that says, it's a song by Eric Clapton. It's called Tears in Heaven. It goes like this. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Would you hold my hand if I saw you in heaven? Would you help me stand if I saw you in heaven? I'll find my way through night and day, 'cause I know I just can't stay here in heaven. Time can bring you down, time can bend your knees, time can break your heart, have you begging please, begging please. Beyond the door, there's peace, I'm sure, and I know there'll be no more tears in heaven. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Well, thank you very much. Beautiful song. Although we do belong in heaven, there is the only place where we belong to, and once we get there, we'll never want to leave. It's like because it's really where we feel like we'll belong, because there is no contrast. There is just love and joy and acceptance in heaven. So trust that. Connect to you. Already exist there. You're already a part of you. Your higher self already exists there. And it's begging to come down and become you. To become one with this higher part. So the card of the day is the Lady of Gabriel. Passionate, charming, brilliant, independent. The card of abundance. It says you can undertake anything right now. Go towards what you aspire. You are attracting the people capable of coming to your assistance. So it's all about moving forward in relationship to what is really wanted. Well, thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.